I have a guest who's joining us this morning who I think defines the meaning labor of love because he has been working diligently over the last few years on a project that is coming to fruition here in a couple of days, and it's going to be honoring Idahoans who gave that last full measure of devotion, and that also includes his son Dan Brown, who lost his life at war just a few years ago. Jerry Brown is joining us in studio this morning, and he's dropped in from Jerome, and you drove the bridge, came in this morning.
Actually, I live in Twin,
You live fairly close by, right?
but yeah, not too far.
Yeah, but the monument is going up in Jerome,
Yes.
and can you Jerry pull the microphone a little closer
I was
there?
wondering
And
about that.
yeah, the it's just the thing when you move it, it sounds like my knees too. It creaks like
Okay, sorry.
that. uh,
Yeah, I hear you.
You've been working on this again for how long?
Well, about 4 years. Dan was killed March 24th, 2012, and not too long after he was killed, I kind of started feeling the need to do something a little bit more. So I kind of started, things going through my head actually, a little over 4 years ago. So
Was it like almost like a calling? Because I know sometimes people feel that motivation, and they're not really sure where it's coming from.
yeah, that could be a very good point. Yeah, I just had this idea in my head, of doing something more. So, if I was told once by some military guys at a TAPS convention that we men we're builders, and that's kind of how we deal with stress and the loss of loved ones sometimes is building things. So I guess maybe that jumped into me too, and I just felt like I had to kind of build something to honor not only my son, but all those who gave their lives, and also want to honor all those who actually served in the military over there too.
I happened to see some of the renderings, the drawings of it in the early stages, and now I've seen some of the photographs as it's near completion.
Hmm.
There's still a little, I guess, final touches that are taking place while we're actually speaking, right?
Yeah, right. We have Chobani. They actually donated some benches that were built by Excel Fabrication, and I've got to do a little cleanup work on those today, and then we'll install those tomorrow, and that should be about the last piece for the.
For people who would actually like to attend the ceremony, the dedication ceremony on Saturday, where is it taking place, and how would they get there?
It's taking place at Jerome Forsyth Park, which is if it's usually pretty easy to find the high school. The high school's on the east edge of town on Lincoln. So if you find the high school, just turn left and go north on the high school. It's about I think it's only half a mile or a quarter to half it's mile, and then you'll see the park on the left. It's on actually, I think that's 8th Street, if I remember right. So.
Uh, One of the things that we should note with this is the reason that you're at this site is because this is the site where, when he was a boy, Dan would play.
Yep. Yeah, we grew up just a little ways from that. So the park is very special. We played a lot there. Dan was loved baseball. He played baseball a lot. His high school team actually his senior year won the state championship in baseball that year. So yeah, we had lots of memories of playing ball over there. And it's also I wanted a place to put it to where children could be around it a lot. I wanted a place it's actually just right by the playground there at Forsyth Park, and hopefully kids are always curious and love to do things. I come over and see the statue and feel it and touch it and all that type of stuff. So I'm hoping it's kind of an interactive things with the kids too.
It has caught the attention of a lot of people that you don't even know. I mean, that's the one thing that I've heard stories about this, that you've had people get in touch with you from around the country who wanted to be of assistance, and because
Hmm.
because so many people have had so many friends who've served in the military, and many have had relatives who didn't come home alive. They've been touched by this story because I think it speaks volumes to them in their own households. Uh, have you gotten any of those touching reminders from people over the last couple of years?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with Dan's. Dan was he was a sergeant when he was killed, and he had a lot of guys under him, and Dan was the kind of guy that he helped people. And just here, I don't know what it's been, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I just every now and then I'll get a call out of the blue from somebody that that was in Dan's unit or that knew Dan that just said, "Hey, I Dan touched my life so much, and he meant so much to me. and I still think of him every day, and I still occasionally just get calls from people I've never met that call me up and just just want to tell me that Dan was that important of a person in his life, in their life.
You felt some urgency to get this done, as I understand, right? In the last few months.
Yes, about 2 years ago, they discovered a melanoma tumor in my eye, and unfortunately, this spring I found out that it had spread to my liver. So I'm kind of in the old cancer battle right at the moment. So when you first find out you got cancer, you obviously don't know, what time do I have left type stuff. So um, at that point, when I first found out, yeah, it became pretty imperative that I'd like to get this done, as soon as possible. Right now, I am receiving some experimental drugs. I go down to Houston every 3 weeks for some chemotherapy, and it seems to be showing some progress in keeping my tumors from growing. So hopefully that will keep me around for a while.
Are you surprised at how your story has spread, though? I mean, because there are people who know you from one end of the country to the other, what your project is all about, and
Oh,
why you're doing it and the like.
I guess I haven't thought too much about that really. I'm just a little more concentrated on getting it done. Yeah, I guess it is pretty amazing. I know a lot of things go on from Facebook these days, and that's how you kind of communicate in the social network, I guess is what they call it. And I filmed a little piece where Maddie and Marley, which are Dan's daughters, who were born 3 months before he was killed. Uh, I showed them the statue for the first time, and it shows them climbing around, and and they say, "I love you, Daddy," and that type of stuff. And I was really amazed that got over 40,000 hits on the Facebook page. And so yeah, that was obviously all over the country. And yeah, it just kind of amazes me. I mean, you see the local people, and where you can interact and hear their responses, and it's quite amazing. But to think that nowadays, yeah, people all over the country know about it, and is quite touching to me.
Do people ever ask you, because to do all of this, and I mean, life's thrown you some challenges. Uh, do they ask you where you get the strength? I mean, because you seem to have an ability just to keep rolling with the punches and getting the job done.
Well, I haven't had too many people ask me that. I assume they've probably thought that. Yeah, I'm kind of a, I guess, person that just concentrates on what I'm doing, I guess, kind of more at the time. And I kind of have a tendency, well, yeah, I've got cancer, but that's not slowing me down now, so I'm not going to let it. So I just try to keep focused on, going ahead and doing what needs to be done. So,
Have there been moments? I mean, everybody, I think, has a moment or two of doubt when they're working on a major project like this. Have there been a few of those?
oh yeah, especially, here lately, you just kind of sometimes it just kind of gets a little overwhelming, and I'm thinking, man, am I going to actually get this done? And you have ups and downs, and there's times where I just feel, man, I don't know if I can get this done or not, but I just kind of keep plugging away, and just hopefully, I mean, I have a great faith in the Lord, and I know that this is the Lord where He's been directing me, and so with that in my heart, I know that it'll get done and that I can do it. So.
You have seems to me a great deal of friends, by the way, who have been trying to help out as
Oh, yeah.
best as they can in all of
Oh,
this.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, Ryan Horsley is one I got to mention. Hopefully, Ryan he owns Red's Trading Post, and he came to me one day and just said, "Hey, Jerry, I want to help out with this project." I didn't contact him or anything. And he says, "Man, I want to, help you raise the last bit of money here and get this thing done." And just out of the blue, and that's just, I mean, that's I could call the statue the heart of a soldier, and and there's reasons for that. But also, I mean, it's nice to just see that same heart for caring about people in so many people here in the Magic Valley that just are so willing just to jump in and say, "Hey, man, what can I do?" It's just it's very comforting, and even though we're not a military town with a a military base or anything, the love for the military is here in this community.
And this is really a memorial to all of those people from Idaho who've given their lives too. I mean,
Oh,
it's a
definitely.
much wider than just Jerome, Idaho.
Oh, yeah, definitely, and I wanted something to, I mean, it would have been nice to possibly have honored all the fallen in the United States, but that gets to be into a pretty, thousands of lives. So I just decided just to focus more on the Idaho and a little more local, so that it has a little more meaning too. local people. Yeah.
It seems to me that no matter where you would put this, though, it's going to be a tremendous source of pride for people when they see it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there was the Jerome just opened, just dedicated a veterans park down there. It was called South Park, and they just rededicated that there just here just a few months ago. And I had a real hard time between choosing. I mean, I could have said probably would have been possibly a little more appropriate, as far as just the military side of things go, to put it there. But my heart was telling me that I just, like I said, I wanted it to place where a little more children and a little more interactive. I want it to be a place that people can go and just not pass by it and just go, oh yeah, there's, not pay much attention to. So, and I really feel that Jerome, that the rec district was the place to put it.
The people who are coming out Saturday, 11 o'clock is the actual
Yes.
dedication time,
Hmm.
and you finished some of the last of the really big concrete and
Yep.
stonework yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and the seats going in tomorrow. So by Saturday morning, you're going to be seeing a
Yep.
completed monument,
It will be.
and there's an area there. The benches, I guess, are just for contemplation for people who come by.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They're just a couple of small 6 foot benches there that just, it has the military logos on the back, and it'll just be kind of a little nice place just to sit and reflect for a while.
The photographs I've seen show someone who looks to be have just walked out of combat greeting a little boy. Right?
Right.
Is
Yep.
that it?
Hmm. Yeah, that was my design for the pose for Dan. I wanted to show that our soldiers aren't just trained to go, let's say kill, in other words. And I wanted to show that there is a heart to our soldiers. Our soldiers, learning about what our soldiers do. I mean, I never did serve in the military or serve in combat, so can't speak for that. But I've learned that most soldiers, when they're out on the battlefield, what their main concern is not themselves, but their fellow soldiers on either side of them. And that's where their true heart is. They will give up their own lives to protect those soldiers. And that's where, I wanted to show, like I said, the more heart side of our soldiers.
Jerry Brown, we want to thank you for coming in today. And I mean, I'm so proud to call you my friend. I don't know that I would have been able to get through all of this, and I'm really impressed that you've managed to do that. And I look forward to seeing you Saturday morning.
That'll be great. Yeah, and I just if you got time, come on out, and I'd love to meet everybody, and hopefully we can honor all of those, not just who gave their lives, but all those who served. I think that's very important to make sure that the people who did come back are still taken care of and thought of, and we don't ever. I see so many Vietnam vets that just tell you the most horrendous stories, and I know that doesn't happen today, but I just want to make sure that they don't get forgotten either.
Amen. We're
Amen.
going to be talking about the Marine Corps with another guest coming up. It's the Marine Corps birthday, and we'll tell you about an event taking place today.